Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
I had a Caesar yesterday at a kid's birthday party.
Kid drinks at lunchtime.
It was actually a little earlier than that. Didn't everyone see that Michael Douglas Demi Moore movie where she gave him a job and he was like, no, and then he sued her for sexual harassment? It's based on a Michael Crichton novel. You guys know, Stoff, you know what movie I'm talking about, right? Job? Michael Douglas Demi Moore.
Okay, so we all...
While you're watching TV with your roommate on the couch?
Yes! Give me the dirty talk every time!
There's a new drop.
Would you rather have sex
Why
with
every
your
time?
cousin and no one knows, or don't have sex with your cousin and everyone thinks you did?
Why does every one of your would you rathers involve incest? Like, you need to talk to someone. Every single one. Have you realized this?
Tulsi has an
The
answer.
one that does not involve incest is my answer.
But everyone's gonna
But everyone thinks you did.
Good for them. I'll just say, well, it didn't happen, so let's move on. April showers bring May flowers, not
April.
freeze your off.
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast, presented by our good friends at Coors Light.
Give me a rimmer, and that's it.
Dance. Dance.
April 16th, 2018. It's the Jay and Dan podcast for that time period. A winner, go yourself.
It never ends. It never seems to be ending. And I was telling a bunch of people last week, this winter hasn't been so bad. It's been pretty good. It's much better than I expected coming back from California. And then this weekend, the ice storm hits.
Yeah, so describe it. I was away for the weekend. What happened in good old Toronto?
It was biblical, like the apocalypse. The rains came, the freezing rains came. And actually, I didn't find it that bad to drive in. But then I got into work on Sunday night. And the surface of the parking lot, the walk leading into the TSN building, was literally like an outdoor skating rink, and someone could have died. So way to go, Bell. Get some... Normally they're throwing down bags and bags of salt here, like it's going out of style. And yesterday there was none. So thankfully I think everyone was okay. But it was freezing. Everyone I know, their basement flooded. Stuff, your house, the upstairs got some water in it?
Yeah, we got water in through cracks around the windows, so that's fun.
Just the worst. Just the worst. Yeah. Meanwhile, Tulsi was sunning it in beautiful Bristol, Tennessee.
Yeah, went down to the race in
nuts.
Bristol. Arrived there on Friday, 26 degrees and sunny. Bristol, not an easy place to get to. So you have to fly into Charlotte. You can take a connector, but then you have to wait for the connector and yada, yada, yada. So we just drove 3.5 hours through the Appalachians.
Ooh.
It's windy.
Now, did you run into any hillbillies?
I'll get to that.
Ooh.
If Dean Willers, our camera guy at the Olympics, was in that vehicle, there would have been vomit everywhere.
Sure.
Because he notoriously gets car sick.
Yeah, real gets car sick all the time. I always had to sit in the front passenger seat or drive. Otherwise, we weren't going anywhere with Dean.
So after 2 hours of that, we're like, we gotta pull over.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So you pulled into a small town and you heard ding, 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 ding.
We stopped, had a beer and had a lunch at this place. Went some antique shopping and
What?
somewhere in Tennessee. Well, I don't know.
Bring back any armoires?
I don't know if it was someone's house or what, but it was a shanty, and I walked in and took a peek around and got the hell out of there.
Yeah, that seems a little bit like hanging out around in Orono. Walking in somebody's house, there's an antique in there, maybe an old man running a library.
One thing I noticed driving through these little small towns, everyone's got about 8 cars.
Nice cars?
No.
Some of those cars buried in the sand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of growth around them.
Yeah.
But everyone has at least half dozen cars.
Maybe we need to up our car game. Maybe we need more vehicles. You and I each only have one car. Should we get more cars?
The other thing we noticed, you will see a $4 million house. You'll see one of those. And then every other house is a little shanty shack.
So like Scarborough.
So it's like, and there doesn't seem to be any building codes or rhyme or reason where these shacks are set up, but.
Oh, that sounds weird. Like a weird experience for you?
Yeah.
Hard for you to wrap your head around?
We were, and then one night we were going out for dinner, and the Uber driver picked us up, Carl. Good guy.
You're looking for an Uber in Bristol. You'll want to talk to Carl.
So we're driving by this hill, and I look up, and there's about 100-foot flag at the top of it, Confederate flag, flying high.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Carl, what's that? He's like, oh, geez, you weren't supposed to see that.
Carl.
A lot of Trump flags.
Flags?
Yep. Trump
Like
flags.
Trump's face on a flag?
No, it just says Trump. And,
Just says Trump. Just
Yep.
Trump.
And counted 6 Confederate flags while I was down there. So it's the South.
Yeah, it is. Those Trump flags are almost stranger than the Confederate flags.
And I had my conversation already in case someone wanted to talk politics. They're going to say, oh, what do you think our president? I'm like,
Yeah.
Who's your president? They'll say Donald Trump. And I'm like,
What?
The businessman? Oh, how's that going?
I've been in a coma for 4 years. What?
I was just going to play dumb.
But honestly, that I sent that out as a tweet once. Can you imagine if you've been in a coma for the last 3 years and you woke up today and you read the news? Trump, president. Like, that would freak you the out. Mm-hmm. That would really, really mess with your head.
It would. Bristol, once we got there, unreal. I could not advise you enough to go to a race there. The experience, you can fit like 160,000 people into this place. And they have a scoreboard that hangs over the track. It's an engineering marvel. I don't know how it stays up there.
Was
But
it
it does.
full? Was it
No.
packed? The BMS?
Because on Saturday we had really
little
nice
rain.
weather for the Xfinity race, and then come Sunday, it was not pretty. They didn't know if they'd get the race in or not, but they got half of it in.
Yeah.
We could still run our pool because we do $20 a number in the suite. That's a pot of $780, winner take all. So the two people, the two like 21-year-old kids working this week, they're like, oh, we want in. I'm like, here you go. I'll get you each a number. So you got a driver each. They're like, oh, this is going to be so fun. It's going to be so exciting. I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. So we found out that they were canceling the race for the day. Everyone was going all over Hell's Half Acre. So some people were staying for the race on the conclusion on Monday.
Yep.
Others were leaving. I'm like, I'm not searching people out. I said, guys, we're putting all the numbers in a hat. Winner take all, whoever gets selected. AJ Allmendinger gets selected. The girl leapt 30 feet in the air. She had him. $780. She was so excited, she was trembling as I handed her the money.
This is one of the girls who works in the...
Yeah, so it was...
Oh, that's a nice story.
It ended up great.
Oh, that's good. I would have totally cheated the system. I would have been like, all right, and here we go. And I would have reached in, held on to my number, or like folded it just a little bit. And been
No,
like,
I did
oh,
impartial.
look, Martin
I did
Truex.
Impartial. I actually had Martin Truex, but he had a horrible race.
Martin Truex, I win. Well, sorry, guys. I'm Dan O'Toole. Thanks for playing.
My name's Dan O'Toole, and I support this ad. Speaking of Martin Truex Jr., Cole Pern, who's been on this podcast, his crew chief, we went and did a couple interviews with him, and then he's like, what are you guys doing tonight for the Leaf game? We're like, I don't know. He's like, we're going to watch it. And so we watched the Leaf game with him.
Is that how you said it to him?
Yes.
Come on, it'll be fun.
And then we went to a place called, oh, you would have loved this place. We're like, well, we don't want to turn in yet. We're on the road. Let's go have some fun. So we went to a place called the Electric Cowboy.
So
It felt like a strip club going in because it was like neon lighting.
Sure, it did. Go on.
And it was like everyone in there had been turned into a zombie and they were all dancing together, line dancing to like one of the songs they were dancing to, Copperhead Road. They all knew the moves. All these other songs, people would scream when they heard the opening chords, run out onto the dance floor and dance together.
But
I thought that was all over.
No, yeah, I thought it was over too. I remember that well when that was the case. Boot, Scoot, and Boogie would come on, and everyone would just make a beeline for the dance floor, and I would sit there confused, terrified. But you're saying that continues in Tennessee.
Copperhead Road.
Copperhead Road seems like a heavy song to line dance to.
We took Copperhead Road on the way to the race one day. They said to turn right on Copperhead Road. So I don't know if that was the actual Copperhead Road in which Steve Earle sang the song about.
Well, I mean, maybe it was, but all I can say is it sounds like Electric Blue is a pretty wild time.
Electric Cowboy.
Electric Cowboy. I thought you were going to say it was a different kind of bar, to be honest.
And that was in Johnson City, Tennessee.
So if you're ever in Johnson City and you're looking to line dance to a song that's about a man who went to Vietnam,
Johnson
check
City,
it out.
Johnson City is mentioned by name in the song Wagon Wheel. Rock me, mama, and the guy, they mentioned Johnson City. So we went there. And then we'll be going back for the August race. That was the whole point. We went there to shoot a couple of promos. It was the last day to enter.
So you're working for NASCAR Canada. This is part of your job, one of the things you do. And you shot these promos with Bark and Fitz. Is that right? The NASCAR mascots?
The race mascots were named Bump and Run.
Oh, Bump and Run. That makes more sense than Bark and Fitz.
And they both had reverse boners because their tails were erect but protruding from where a tail would protrude from.
For some dogs, does that mean they're aroused if their tails go straight up?
I don't know. But Bump had a big barrel.
Now,
big barrel. We were trying to determine if it was part of the costume or if it was a real life belly.
And you pointed out that you thought Bump and Run or someone in your crew, your NASCAR crew, described those mascots as a bit mangy. A bit mangy.
They're a couple of raccoons.
Now, in your estimation, standing next to them, arms around them, fingers running through their fur, did you also find them mangy?
No.
Perhaps a bit stenchy?
No odors.
Nothing?
No odors.
That's saying something to me. That's impressive. Well, it sounds like you had a great time, and you made it back. Like, you kind of missed the ice storm, so you really planned that
beautifully. I flew back this morning, so I flew back Monday morning. We thought we were going to fly into the teeth of it, but hey, we're okay. Charlotte flew in there. They don't want to do little pieces of construction. The entire city is under construction, the airport, everything. So a heads up if you fly into Charlotte, it's a
So it's like Montreal all the time.
I guess. I don't.
Just the entire city under construction. All the time.
Yeah.
And biblically cold, though Charlotte sounds like it was beautifully warm.
And saw our former co-worker, Caitlin Vincey.
Oh, how's she doing? She had a baby, right?
She's doing... In 1 year, they had a baby, they got married, and her husband, who is on Martin Truex Jr.'s crew, wins a championship. All in... I'm like... So I asked him, I said, which one was the best? He's like, all of them? I'm like,
good answer.
Yeah.
Was Caitlin there when he said that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for him. She needs to know where she stands. Not anywhere above his personal career.
It has changed my life.
By the way, Brian, that was the voice of Brian Hayes, who's the afternoon host on TSN Radio in Toronto. He left what appears to be some fungus on the microphone. Is that right? Because you're using his microphone. I'm on Noodles' microphone. Jamie McLennan, also on that afternoon show.
It's like he was eating crackers or a bale of hay and then didn't drink any liquids with it, and it just all flew out of his mouth onto this mic sock.
Christoph,
it has changed my life.
Is Brian Hayes a big saltines while hosting a radio show guy?
Perhaps at times, although he doesn't usually eat it there, so that's a little suspicious.
Yeah,
could have been someone before him.
Maybe it was Wheeler or something like that.
That's the My Pillow ad. People that work on our show swear by this pillow.
Right. Now, producer Tim, on the other hand,
he's not a big fan.
Prod T, not a fan. Took producer Tim out for a nice birthday dinner on Friday.
Ooh, how'd that go?
Really great. We went to Harbor 60.
Was he surprised?
He was surprised and delighted, and they treated us very, very well. very nicely. It was a lovely night. They brought out, I think they might have been clearing out the dessert cabinet. They brought out like 6 desserts. It was unbelievable. We ordered one. You know how it is. You go to a steakhouse, you can barely get any dessert in. You're so full.
Yeah.
And you've got the meat sweats and you're ready to pass out. You've been drinking so much red wine.
Where is the banana hot dog?
Then they bring out 6 desserts. All rich, heavy, delicious. Coconut cream pie. Oh, God, they were so good.
Now, let us into the restaurant. Who did you see? Because Harbor 60 is
It's a literal
the who's who.
It's a literal who's who. Put it this way, I didn't see anyone I recognized, but what I did see was that every table seemed to be occupied by a man who either was on or should audition to be on Dragon's Den, his second or third wife, and then their 10 and 11-year-old boys who are celebrating a birthday eating $40 hamburgers. That's kind of the clientele I saw there.
A lot of suits?
A lot of suits at dinner downtown. Great time. But one other thing I did, Dan, was today I did a rehearsal. I'm hosting the Entrepreneur Organization Global Conference this week. Pretty excited. I mean, you're not the only one taking sweet side gigs. Okay, this is huge.
Did they not want me to take part?
Well, what they said was they reached out to you, but your people told them that you were busy at NASCAR and hanging out with Bark and Fitz.
I have no people.
You were hanging out with Bark and Fitz. So they came to me for the solo gig, but that's not really the point. It's going to be fine. Everything's great. But the guy who they've hired to produce this, so essentially this organization hires this guy to set up the stage, get the AV together, the big screens, the mics, everything. It's all put together. This is his job. Young guy, like maybe 30. So someone says to me as we're rehearsing, because we actually rehearsed, that's how serious they are. So they said, Zach over there, this is the guy. They're like, Zach, the guy who produces this, he has no home. He doesn't have a home. And I'm like, what do you mean he doesn't have a home? He's like, he does these gigs all over the world. He goes for a pharmaceutical company. They'll be having a convention. He'll go do that. He'll stay at that hotel. He'll go another company having a convention in Vegas. He'll stay in Vegas at that hotel. No home. Doesn't have a home. So I said to him, do you carry like a suitcase around? He said, no. Have you ever heard of the Duffel app? Have you heard of this, Dan?
No.
So what he does is he gives this company, Duffel, I guess they are, all his clothes. And they take pictures of them, categorize them, and then he, on this app, selects which clothes he wants sent to his next location. They send those clothes to the hotel at the next location, dry cleaned, pressed, perfectly done. He wears them at the next location, puts them in a box with a FedEx label that's been given to him, drops it off at the front desk when he leaves this hotel. They send it back to Duffel. He gets on the app again, says, all right, I want these clothes for the next location. So he has no luggage. He has no home. He's a nomad. Could you live like that? I think it would be pretty awesome.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Yeah, but you'd run into problems. You're like, the weather's different. I needed a sweater, but I didn't get Duffel to send me a sweater.
But then you go out and you buy a new sweater because you're not paying rent or paying a mortgage. You've got tons of sweet cash in your pocket because the company's paying your hotel. So you're not even paying. You paid 0 accommodations your entire year.
And I like that part.
And you probably don't pay for much food either. And probably not much booze.
Daddy needs his rimmer.
This is a job for Toolsy.
He's that busy, though?
Yeah. He goes all over North America, goes to Japan, Korea. It's a good gig. We need to get into that racket. One small problem, we have no technical skills.
And that seems like a lot of planning. I go on the road and I don't know what hotel I'm in until I'm walking into it.
Okay, well, that's extreme. It seems like you should at least know what hotel you're in as you walk into it and look at the sign in front of the hotel.
I'm always with someone. I'm always like, I just said, we're going to, like, I showed up at our hotel Friday, it was a Hilton Garden Inn. I found out as I was walking into it where we were staying.
But if you're hired by one of these companies, surely there'll be a point person at that company
who will just follow them around.
Right. There you go.
It was funny. So we stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn in Bristol, and then we stayed at the same chain, Hilton Garden Inn in Charlotte. It was so trippy. We walked into the one in Charlotte, complete same layout, everything. We're like, did we return to the hotel we just left?
Hey,
it was the
Hilton Garden Inn. They like to keep things consistent.
Yeah, we were very confused.
Now, Dan, another thing that happened over the weekend was Coachella. Coachella was over the weekend.
Right.
Beyonce was one of the headliners. It was a big deal, lots of celebs there. And I was feeling a little sad because not only did we have this ice storm, but I went to the last two Coachellas, and I didn't get to go to this one because I was stuck in the ice storm. But someone we know did go to Coachella.
I think I know who this is because I commented on one of their pictures.
It's a friend of ours from the Jay and Dan podcast version 2.0. It's a man who never showed up for the podcast on time, ever. He was driving from across town, never made it on time. It's a man who often feuded with our friend Mike Botticello. I'm not sure if they ever settled their differences. And it's a man who I think has now found inner peace in the desert over the past weekend. It's our good friend, Pat Muldowney. Pat, are you there?
I gotcha.
Yes!
All right. Okay.
Ah, great.
Time.
Okay, buddy, first of all, how are you doing? It's been far too long since we've talked to you.
Big picture, I'm doing well. Things are going great. Specifically today, I'm 35 and I just came back from Coachella. So physically, I'm not in great shape.
Right. So the weekend took a lot out of you. That's what you're saying? Too many hallucinogenic drugs, not enough water.
That seems like the fun stuff. For me, it was like, I'm too old to walk that far. My sinuses are bothering me because I was breathing in dust. So just
this
old guy
scarf,
problem.
this handkerchief around my neck doesn't match everything I'm wearing.
That was a recurring problem all weekend.
Did you buy, and people should go to Pat's Instagram to see the bandana that was around his neck that we're referring to, which, and I understand that it is dusty, but not that dusty. Was this a premeditated purchase before you got to Coachella that you got the bandana around the neck?
I bought about 15 bandanas before we went.
Wow.
It is that dusty. Wait. There. You're crazy if you're saying it's not that dusty.
I never once bought a bandana and wrapped it around my neck or face. I just puffed it out.
Where would you get 15 bandanas? Amazon?
There's a store called Simply
Amazon.
Bandanas.
If I need something, I search Amazon and I wait for it to show up at my house. I don't know where to shop for things.
Okay. You're the reason brick and mortar is failing, Pat.
That's true.
Failing. So what was the highlight of the weekend for you?
It was the Chance the Rapper coming out during Cardi B's performance was pretty incredible. The being there for Beyonce was pretty... It was an experience, I'll say that. It was a lot of fun. Overall, it was a good weekend. Coachella's a good experience, Jay. I know you've been there. Dan, would you hate it? But it's never going to be the best live performances. It's just there's too many people, there's too much going on. But overall, as a weekend, it was a lot of fun, and the performances we did see were pretty good.
Did you do the VIP? Well, you were invited. Your girlfriend was invited, right? So you guys were backstage hanging with the Crawford Gerbers, Nicki Minaj, Timothy Chalamet, or whatever the hell his name is.
We're one level away from being actually able to enjoy it on that level. The thing about you should get VIP if you go to Coachella, but it's an awful experience. There's more people in the VIP sections than there are in just the regular 21 and up area where you can go get beer. So it's better to kind of be old than it is to be VIP there. I could not imagine paying $1,000 for that experience.
That's wrong. You're wrong about that, Pat.
What's a beer cost you there? What's food cost you? Is it like airport prices?
It's pretty bad. The food is $10, $15. I mean, the Shake Shack was I think $12 or something. Beers are like $12, $15. Everything's as you would expect.
But the reason I would argue you go VIP is because you get the access to that food. And if that costs me $1,000, then that's what I'm going to do. Because the food outside that VIP is not good.
That's true. There is better food in the VIP experiences. There's just typically longer lines for it.
Now, for you, you're now at the Ringer, Pat. And how are things going at theringer.com?
Things are great. It's been weird for me being at a small company, as you guys know, at Fox, that you would run into people every day that you didn't know, you'd probably never seen before, you certainly had never met. So being in a smaller company has been fun for me. It's a good experience. And, a few months in now, people don't seem to they haven't learned to hate me like a lot of the people that we worked with.
Well, let's get into that a little bit. First of all, is it true? Why did you leave our podcast, Podcast 2.0? I think a lot of listeners who've listened for a long time want to know the answer to this. You were gone abruptly, like a ghost in the night.
I speculated that Ben somehow fired you.
So I don't know that it was a firing, but I do remember it having to be something along those lines. I know because I was always still on the emails with you guys and Mike and Ben, even after they shifted my office over to Playa. But I would still come over, every opportunity that I got. And then it got to the point where I remember Ben at one point told me that you guys were so annoyed that sometimes I wouldn't be there because I had to be in meetings or something, that you both just didn't want me on the podcast anymore.
That's some complete.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
I
you were
straight up
late a lot,
remember-
though. You were late a lot. Now, you were coming
that's
from
true.
across town. That was your disadvantage for sure. And you were coming in the middle of very heavy traffic.
Yeah, but I also didn't offer much, so it wasn't like it was worth dealing with the hassle of me being late.
No, that's not true. You offered a lot. You were you were good on the drops, I thought, and I enjoyed your repartee with Mike Botticello. I thought you guys had a nice banter, a nice chemistry, if you will.
Do you and Mike hang out?
No. I did see him NBA All-Star Weekend at some the Adidas party. It was the first time Mike and I saw each other in a while.
How was that? A slow embrace, maybe a look across the room through a smoky image. You get together, you embrace. All is forgiven.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a big concert. We hung for a little bit and talked because I was there by myself. And then Mike drove me home because he drove to the concert and I guess was not drinking. So.
Oh, okay. So you guys had a lot of time to reflect.
Oh yeah, a lot of traffic on the way home.
I love it.
Can we? I just want to run this back real. So I remember specifically Ben Teller telling me that you guys didn't want me on the show anymore. So I didn't know that if I fully believed that version of the story or not. So I specifically remember emailing both of you guys and saying, guys, thanks for the opportunity. I was a huge fan of the podcast before you came here. Working on this has been the best part of my job for 4 years now. I love you guys. I've, had a blast. And you both emailed me back separately, individually, saying none of that is true. We never said that.
Yeah,
This wasn't the case.
100%.
Right. Yeah, no, we would never have said anything like that. I didn't realize that you and Ben maybe didn't get along as well as we hoped you did. I had no clue until much, much later, basically after you had left.
Yeah, that was really when I found out a lot about it too. I don't think he saw my role as being very helpful.
So how do we mend this? How do we bring two of our most popular podcast personalities together and sort of heal the wounds, so to speak?
Yeah, maybe some double dates. My girlfriend and I can maybe help Ben along his journey that I know has been quite a roller coaster ride.
It really has, Pat. It would be so wonderful. Actually, I would love that.
I think I'm just a penis guy.
Just a double date. You guys, maybe a triple date. Maybe Botticello joins.
Oh, I would love to see who Mike showed up with.
Okay, so we got to make that happen. And are you still getting tweets from Canadian people wondering if you're dead or about to die?
Yeah, I don't think that'll never end, and I'm thankful for that. And the shocker of the century, I posted a sunset picture from Coachella yesterday,
yes.
And I got a tweet back from somebody in Canada immediately saying, "I'm so thankful that a sunset pic made this."
Yeah, I wouldn't have been the same if you hadn't posted a sunset pic from Coachella. Though maybe you're dialing that back a little bit, I feel like, than from when you first arrived. Like you're acting like you've been there before.
No, it's definitely not that. I'm still enamored by every time the sun goes down below the ocean, but I live in West Hollywood now.
Oh,
so
very
I'm
nice.
not in Santa Monica anymore.
perfect. Well, you can learn all about the sauna culture and catch Toolsy up for the next time when we move back to L.A. Then Toolsy won't be so surprised.
That's
this
right.
time.
I'll know what's going on in WeHo.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, we wanted to catch up. We wanted to see how Coachella was, and yeah, work on that double date. Maybe we all reach out on Twitter because I think a double date would be a real special experience for everyone involved. Well, maybe not Ben, but everyone else.
Yeah,
I think it would. Worst case scenario, we know we'll come away with some good stories.
Hey,
That's
Pat,
true.
I know you're a NASCAR fan now. I just got back from Bristol. It was awesome.
Yeah, how was that? I saw that you were there.
It's awesome. You should go.
It's that's been one of the tracks that I've wanted to get to. I think the theme of what keeps coming up here. I was going to say that I went to the Fontana race about a month ago, which I went to by myself. Going to a lot of things by myself.
Interesting. Are you okay, Pat? Like, you've been in a relationship for a long time. That's good, but making male friends isn't a bad thing.
Look, guys, I need some time where I'm stuck in traffic where I can listen to the podcast.
Oh, okay, that's good.
That's fair. Fontana's nice. I've been to Fontana with Toolsy, actually. That was a good time.
Yeah, it's it doesn't compare to Bristol.
So Toolsy's a NASCAR snob, so Fontana doesn't cut it.
Yeah, Bristol. Yeah, it's a weird one. Okay, thanks for coming on.
All right, go Pens. Let's go Pens.
See you, buddy.
Okay.
That is Pat Muldowney.
Speaking of Bristol, hats off to DJ Kennington, Canadian driver that was in that race, had the Humboldt Broncos on the hood of his car, and they were auctioning off that hood. So that's going to be going to someone, and to be there and have him, he got choked up talking about it. He talked about how he called up his team owner. He said, I want to honor these guys. And the owner's like, okay, where do you want to put the logo? He said, on the hood.
On the hood. I love it. And
Yeah.
I love that they're auctioning.
Really
off.
good guy. And he knows Cole. I'm like, do you know DJ's? Like, yes, we've known each other forever. So a guy going up against the big teams is it's expensive. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice, right? Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's
Like he literally
that's
goes
something
in.
that nobody really talks about. That's that's
They
pretty
go
impressive.
in knowing they aren't going to win the race. They
Right.
just want to be there at the end. And he finished the race. So
Yeah.
that's big.
Yeah, very cool that he did that. And the GoFundMe last night when I did the show, and I know you were sitting right beside me last night, the GoFundMe, almost $12 million.
Oh.
It's incredible. Speaking of incredible, Dan, we have another guest on the line, and this is pretty special. Maybe, Christoph, can you play the drop that, and then Dan will know who this is.
Yes.
Danny is good looking.
There it is. It's Mickey all the
What?
way from Korea. Hi, Mickey.
Mickey, this makes me so happy. We miss you so much.
Me too.
What are you doing right now? Let me guess, you're on your way to a massage parlor.
Yeah, yes.
How have you been? Do you miss us?
Of course. I really listening the podcast, your podcast. I was download.
Oh, that's nice.
That's great. Are you spreading the
Yeah.
word? Is the podcast becoming popular in South Korea?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not popular in Korea.
Now, have you looked into any acting roles for me so I can capitalize on my bird face?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Let-
Yeah.
Do you think, Mickey, that if Dan doesn't know how to speak Korean, he could still be a big movie star just based on his tiny face and how fascinated Koreans are with it?
Can I be honest again?
Yes.
You are good looking. Dan is good looking. He has small face, but these days, Korea, so many foreigners came to here, so I think you can't.
Oh.
Yeah. No shot for you, Tulsi. So, right off the top, Mickey, crushing our dreams. I love it.
Oh, yes.
So how have you been since the Olympics? What have you been doing?
Just to work and thinking of you guys, you, and yeah, I want to stay in Canada too. Yeah, it's amazing.
Why don't you come
country.
visit? Dan has some rooms in his house you could stay in, and then who knows what happens, Mickey, as the nights get colder. And
Are you serious?
yes, very serious.
How much do you miss Dean, our camera guy?
100%. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, can I be honest? Not at all.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. What is it like after the Olympics are over? Is everyone sad? Does everyone wish that all the Canadians would come back to their country? How is the entire country recovering from their Olympic hangover?
Oh, that's a good question. I think Korean people, they really enjoyed the Olympics and everyone happy. I think Korean government to get money.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
And you saw Guy when he was in Seoul, correct?
Yeah, right.
That wasn't fun?
It doesn't sound like you thought it was that great.
No. I'm sorry. I had a great time. Dean and Dean's sister, she's amazing too. Yeah, she's personally like me.
Yeah, Guy is one of our producers that was over with us at the Olympics. He stayed for a couple weeks after and toured around. And I have to tell you, Mickey, Seoul, we were blown away. What a city.
We loved it, Mickey. We wish we had more time in Seoul. That city's awesome.
Oh, you should visit. You should come. Yeah.
I know, we should. And then you can take me to another Thai massage place. But then Guy will have to come too.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll introduce many massage therapies place.
Oh, okay. Now you're speaking my language.
Oh, God.
Hey, Mickey,
That's too funny.
Guy said that he somehow, the night you guys went out together, by the end of the night, he somehow ended up at a, how do I say this?
Ladyboy?
At a transsexual bar, and that they wouldn't let him in because he was too intoxicated. Do you have anything to do with that? Any comment?
Oh. So you mean he went to Itaewon bar? Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think it was in Itaewon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ladies there didn't want Guy to come in and hang out because he was a little too intoxicated. And I wondered if you maybe fed him a little too much soju that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Actually, I've been to many times in Itaewon, but I never been there like that. So I should go there.
Go check it out.
Yeah, I will check it. Okay.
Speaking of soju, we haven't had soju since we returned to Canada. We're in withdrawal.
I bought some on the weekend, and I sent Mickey the picture. Now, is that good stuff I bought? Or is that are you sending us the dregs, like the stuff from the bottom of the soju barrel?
Oh, same bottle of soju, same.
Yeah, it was the same stuff we were drinking. Yeah, so I haven't cracked it open yet, but I assume it's good. That stuff will sneak up on you. Oh, man. And by the way, Mickey, we're continuing to drink during the day. You'll be happy to know that.
Oh, okay.
Mickey, this has been great. What a surprise. This made my day.
Oh, yeah, I really miss you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, we miss you
I don't know
too.
if you saw it on Instagram, but I took a video of you when we said goodbye. When we said goodbye to each other, and it was the saddest video ever because we said, "There goes Mickey," and you turned around and you slumped your head, and everyone was very sad.
Yeah.
To see you walk away. Yes.
Yeah, very sad. You're a big part of the show.
Thank you.
To be honest, Mickey, the most the most questions we've had about the Olympics concern you. People said, what was Mickey like?
Yeah.
They didn't care about the Olympics. They just wanted to know about you.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's true. It's true.
Wow. I'm so famous in Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still very
are.
famous here. Apparently, we're not so famous in Korea, but you're very famous here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, you'll have to come visit us soon, and then you can make some more appearances on the show, or you can be our driver when we go to Tokyo 2020 for the Summer Olympics.
Yes. Yeah, I should learn Japanese. Yes.
Yeah. Well, work on. You've got 2 years to work on that, and then we'll see you there.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Mickey.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
That's Mickey. Great.
Wow.
Great person.
That was a great surprise.
Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that. That really worked out well.
Well, that was a good trip down memory lane
I
podcast.
guess we did it. And now one more call. Here's Ben. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, we got to go
I think I'm just a penis guy.
We got to go a good solid month without Ben.
Well, I don't know how the people
I'm
feel
so
about
happy.
that. That's a good question.
Less is more.
How
Less
about-
is more.
How about this? Let's throw this out to the podcast listeners. How many times a month, 4 episodes, should we have Ben on? Once,
Oh,
twice,
Jay.
3 times, or 4 times? So 4 times would be every week Ben's on. That's when Dan would stop doing the podcast.
Yes, that's when I would stop showing up.
Dan would stop showing up here. And
It
it would be like Pat. Pat just stopped not showing up at our podcast in L.A.
Speaking of people just stop showing up, remember we used to have Tim read stuff, producer Tim? That just ended.
Story time with producer Tim. Well, he hated it. Remember, Christoph? He truly hated it.
I believe he asked for it to stop. That's kind of the story behind the scenes.
Like, he begrudgingly did it the first couple of times. Then we barely could get anything out of him. And then finally.
He did not enjoy that.
No, he didn't really like that at all. He was very upset in the end. So maybe we can get him to bring it back. It was fun remember we'd do that modulated voice thing? It was really weird. Well, listen, this has been a treat, and we'll be back next week because this weekend, Toolsy and I are going together to beautiful Saskatoon, Saskatchewan for the Rock 102 Spring Invasion at Prairieland. Get your tickets now. Wait, they don't sell tickets. You got to win them.
That's right. I can't wait for that. So we'll have lots of tales from Toontown.
And
on next
Robin
week's podcast.
White, who we met last year's event, will be at this year's event. So we'll get him on next week, and we'll talk about our weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get to Saskatoon. Yeah.
That's texting Waddy right now. He said, hey, could we chat with you this week before you fly here? Of course.
He said that to you?
Yeah.
Ooh, sounds like we've been fired. That sounds like
No,
he's
on the
breaking
radio.
up with you.
No, like on the radio.
Oh,
Not
okay.
like, hey, I need to.
Hey, can I talk? We need
I
to
hate
talk.
when someone sends a message.
Hey,
I need to talk to you.
we got to talk.
Thank
It's
you.
over. You're not our hosts for the Spring Invasion. Roger Millions is the guy.
Come on, it'll be fun.
I'd pay to see that.
That'd be fantastic. His daughter is one of the hosts on the radio station.
That's right.
Roger's daughter, Millie Millions. That'd be a good radio handle. Afternoons with Millie Millions on Rock 102. Now, here's the Guess Who running back to Saskatoon. We're playing it again.
Okay. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Goodbye.